Is he the real Eric? No, I'm a fake Eric. But yeah, I'm the real Eric. Um, AI avatar. Yeah. I assume you've all seen those, like the AI video stuff the last few weeks, right? I forgot the name of it, but the OpenAI, whatever they're doing. Sora, that's it, Sora. That stuff is like, I mean, it seems like for video, the same thing as like there's still stuff was for images. It's kind of like, holy crap. I was talking to a few of my Pixar buddies, and yeah, I know they're probably a little terrified right now. Oh, glad you like the game. So how about you, Beethoven? Which country are you from? Or any of y'all, you want to shout out? I'm curious, like, which countries are some of you new folks from? No, we got Poland here. Don't understand. Oh, you're talking about the AI stuff? Just talking about like all this AI, image generation and video generation, things like that. Just, some people are saying that's going to replace a lot of animation jobs or movie industry jobs. Like, you're not going to need a giant movie studio to make a animated movie anymore. You just have a computer do it. Of course, I think we were talking about this a few weeks back, but there's a lot of uh, questions there in terms of like how controllable things are, and I don't know. That's a whole different topic. It'll be interesting to see where it all goes, though. Greetings from India. Ah, yes, India is always. We always have at least one or two representatives from India, so. Cool. All right, so starting to get a decent crowd in here. I guess I can go ahead and get rambling. Not that it's not too much of a official agenda today. It's just one of those, chat about whatever days. But I'll just do my status update. So for me, this is actually, it's kind of funny because like to everyone else, this should seem like nothing actually happened. But to me, I just spent the last 7 days like coding furiously. This is probably like the most typing I've ever done in a week. Basically getting the old V1 master server converted over to Python 3. So I officially, as of yesterday at 7 p.m. my time, I flipped the switch and we're now running on the new V1 master server. So it's very exciting. Yeah. And so for anyone who doesn't know, like the V1 master server is, it's like this central server that was doing all the, it holds all the old accounts and it wrangles all the like the list of games that are running and tournaments and all that stuff. So it's doing a whole lot, like anything, it's kind of the brains of the overall game. And yeah, that's been running on Python 2, which is, the old outdated version of Python. It's been stuck in like this not limbo, but using this old framework that Google provided called Google App Engine. They had like this old version of it. It only supported like Python 2.7 and it was very specific to that environment. And it's been like out of date for like 12 years now, basically. So I finally this last week just fast and furious like ported everything to Python 3, which was actually a pretty big thing. Because a lot of stuff changed between Python 2 and 3. There's like strings are totally different, and yeah, print statements, and I don't know, just lots of like modules that no longer exist because they were specific to that old Google setup. So anyway, it's been a huge amount of work. I mean, I'm happy I got it done in a week, but it was, like I said, oh my gosh, so much typing. To me, I'm curious, anyone else who codes, like I always feel like coding is like 95% thinking and about 5% typing. But for me this last week, there was just so much stuff so many like boilerplate things to change. It was like the opposite of that. It was like 95% typing and 5% thinking, which was sort of fun because I feel like for me that's the kind of coding when you can like turn on some like techno music and just like get into it and go into like robot mode. Um, but anyway, it's done. So you can see like here's the old V1 master server, which is this big mess of Python 2 files, and here is the new one, which looks exactly the same from your view. But this is very much similar to like what I went through with the game going from 1.4 to 1.5, because in that case, that's when the game went from Python 2 to Python 3. So that was a ton of work also. So this is basically doing the same thing on the server side. And so it wound up being very similar in terms of like what I did to update it. Like the old server was lots of these files. Like this is a Python file. It's 594 kilobytes. So that means like this thing is like one enormous file that just goes on forever. So for the new one, I took that opportunity to kind of like reorganize and split things out a bit. So here's that file in the new server. It's been split into a bajillion small files, which is a bit more organized. So yeah, just tons and tons of work. But like I said, I flipped the switch last night, and we are now running on Python 3.11, soon to be 3.12. So that is good. And like the big positive thing there is that I don't have to like shut down the V1 master server at this point. Like we should be able to keep that thing running like as long as we need, because now it's on the latest and greatest Python, so I can just like update it to the newest one every year, and it should be a smooth process. It's no longer this like ancient thing that's outdated and just getting more and more outdated. So I'm super happy about that, which also means I basically kind of wrapped it into like the framework that I built for like the V2 master server. So if you've probably all seen me show, come Doc, where are you? There we go. So here's the V2 master server. This is like the modern stuff. This will be squad system and all that stuff. But now I have legacy. So here's the V1 master server. It looks very similar. So I have it kind of wrapped up in this same framework, which means like if we do want to add like new features or clean up stuff on the old V1 master server, I can use all the new shiny stuff that I built for the V2 one, which is super cool. You can still see like, I think I've shown you guys this stuff, like the old dashboard. This is super janky old, like this is the V1 dashboard. It shows my list of recent errors people have run into, or this is like database gets that are happening recently. I show public parties, but there's lots of IP addresses and things in there, so I feel like I shouldn't. So anyway, that's my big status update for this last week or two is the V2 or V1 server is now nice and modernized. I mean, the code itself is not modernized. I still don't plan on like making substantial changes to the V1 master server. Like my hope is just to keep it doing its thing as long as we want it to. But we can at least now do that easily. And I can probably like fix a few minor bugs and stuff. So anyway, on that note, there was some stuff. It was super like intense while I was flipping over because like the master server, it gets about 150 to 200 hits every second. So like there's a lot of traffic coming into that thing. And so like flipping that over to a completely untested like new code base, that was fun. So I'd like flip a little piece of it over and then I'd see like massive breakage, like error messages everywhere. And then I'd flip it back and then like try to fix some of those errors and then flip it over again and then see more massive explosions and death and destruction and then flip it back. And so I was jokingly comparing it to like trying to build a new bridge while cars are going over the old bridge, and then like every now and then you're flipping a switch and like putting a ramp on there to the new bridge. But when I do that, like all the cars would be like driving off the sides into the water and blowing up and stuff. So then I have to take the ramp down. So it was chaos for an hour or two there, but finally all the cars are going over the new bridge, and then they're mostly not on fire. So. Anyway, that's that's my my update basically. Merp, merp, merp. Sorry, I haven't been probably way behind on questions here. There's something else I wanted to mention with master server stuff. So yeah, if anyone, some stuff was broken for a while, like the public parties lists and things like that were broken at first, but I think I got all that stuff fixed. So basically the point is with this much code that got changed, I'm sure there's going to be some lingering little bugs in there. Like I didn't have time to test anything really, so I was just kind of hoping that everything works. Also, data conversion was another thing. Like a lot of stuff was stored in like Python 2 specific ways that wouldn't work in Python 3. So I had to like write all these scripts to like go through every single account and like modify data and rewrite it. And so yeah, that was, oh my gosh, so much. It was fun, but I'm glad that's done. But anyway, yeah, if any of you see anything behaving weird with your existing account stuff, like anything that looks like the server is not doing what it should be doing, please let me know. Because like I said, there's probably a quirk or a bug or two in there that I just haven't noticed yet. I'm fixing everything that like generates error messages, like if it's trying to do something that's blatantly broken, like looking up something that doesn't exist in the database. Like I can fix that stuff, but there's probably going to be subtle things where, maybe some string is the wrong format, and so like some name doesn't look right or something like that. So please let me know if you see anything like that. One caveat, I'm sure you guys are probably all using like newer versions of Bomb Squad, but there's probably some stuff broken too if you're connecting to the master server with like a Bomb Squad 1.4. Because there used to be some stuff where it would actually send things to the master server in like Python 2 specific formats, like serialized strings and things like that only Python 2 could work with. And so that kind of stuff won't work anymore because now it's talking to Python 3. So if you're still using like Bomb Squad 1.3, you're probably going to run into problems, but I don't think anyone should be. So messages don't show on screen for me. Is anyone else running into that? That shouldn't be master server related. I'll have to double check on that if there's something I'm forgetting, unless there's like a global setting that the master server is sending to everybody. Any reason I chose Python? I mean, honestly, the reason I first just started messing with Python was at the time I was doing visual effects, wanted to work in movies and things, and Python is a very popular language for all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know, I just kind of fell in love with working with Python. It was just a fun little clean language, and yeah, I just kept working with it. Yeah, I'm not sure why I chose it for the master server. Probably just because I was using it for everything else. Also, I think I heard about App Engine from some of my friends who are writing apps. They were using Google App Engine, which is this very scalable system for writing servers. And I'm pretty happy I went with that because it came in really handy when when the game first came out and then got featured on Google Play. Like I was getting millions of downloads over a few days. And the server was just getting like annihilated, but it was handling it. It would just it would spin up like so many instances to. It was very expensive for a few days, like running that many instances, but it would like automatically scale up. So I'm glad I went with like App Engine or some system like that. But App Engine itself, I guess it had like a Java front end, but it also Python was one of the supported ones. So I just went with Python, and also I started tinkering with Python for like the in-game scripting, and so. At this point, I love Python. It's kind of one of those things where like I feel like I know Python pretty well, down to the low level, so I just enjoy working with it. I don't know. I feel like at this point for me, like switching to another language, it'd be so much work, like porting things I've done and all that I'm just, unless Python suddenly changes. I mean, it's a very popular language. I think it's what, in the top 1 or 2 coding languages in popularity with like AI and stuff uses Python a lot. So it's not in any danger of going away. So I feel pretty comfortable working with it. Plus it's open source, and I've been able to like get it compiling on Android or on iOS or anything else. So it's pretty nice, and that I can kind of beat it into whatever shape I want it to be in. I'm like, Roadmap Siegel. That's not Roadmap Siegel. That's Eric Check PR Siegel. Oh. Okay, well, the good news is that now that I'm done with this epic server porting quest of mine, I can get back to some client work. So hopefully I can I apologize for these PRs sitting around for weeks, but I can hopefully do a pass and get a new client out, which would include pulling those PRs in. Are there any? I feel like I've been especially out of the loop for the past few weeks, especially this last week. I was literally just like heads down, techno music playing, just coding furiously. Is there anything broken right now, or that needs? I saw mention of. I think you're gonna mention what I was gonna mention. There's like the address checker functionality. BS access check is dead. Oh, so it doesn't work at all? Like if if you go into the game and do like is my server accessible type thing, like that'll just fail every time now? Because I certainly want to fix that if that's the case. Ooh, that's okay. All right, I will yeah, I should prioritize that. I did see that just earlier today when I was looking getting ready to set this up. So but that makes me happy. I'm glad I can fix it now that we're running on the new server instead of the old, because that's one of those things where it's probably a little bit different in Python 3 versus Python 2. So now I can fix it in a permanent way instead of having to like fix it and then port that fix. Yay. Yeah, if anyone wants, if you want to make a list of these or something, like outstanding stuff that, we can have a seagull for that too. Just like stuff that I need to fix, or things that are blocked by me. That could be cool. Wait, is it fixed? Oh, that would be cool. Maybe Python 3 just magically fixed it. I mean, all that stuff is going through Python 3 now, so maybe it's fixed. I don't think I've changed that code recently, so I'm a little surprised why it would be broken. Though who knows? It could be something like the old App Engine setup was maybe getting quarantined by Google somehow. Who knows? It was basically, it was getting to the point where I was getting a little afraid that I would lose access to the old master server, and I sort of did actually. I think like midway through last Wednesday or Thursday, I lost the ability to like update the master server, like the V1 master server, because it was, Google said they were going to shut that off. They've been warning me for years now. But it was supposed to be shut off at the end of January, but they hadn't shut it off yet. So I'm like, oh, cool, I can keep working. Which was important because I needed to like fix some data from the Python 2 side before I like accessed it from the Python 3 side. So I had to be able to like mess with the old master server code. But then they like shut that off midweek, and I was like, but luckily I saw they had like some like backup setting where you can like re-enable access, but you have to do it through like some corporation setting or something. So I had to go and like make myself a corporation, or like I had to like go set up all this corporate type stuff on Google so that it's just me still, but I technically exist, like my projects exist under a corporation now, so that I could re-enable Python 2 access for my janky old V1 master server, which I no longer need now. So if I had done that a week earlier, I wouldn't have had to jump through those hoops and make myself a corporation. But what can you do? Oh, it's fixed. Okay, cool. Yeah, I am really curious. I don't think I touched that code on the old master server. So yeah, maybe there was some weird access restriction, or maybe who knows? I could have broken something without realizing it, but I'm glad to hear it works. Eric Corp. Yeah, I need a cool like corporation-y name, like Efro Inc. I don't know, Efro Inc. Efro. Ooh. Yeah, if you want to point me at something, or if you want to make a PR, yeah, I mean, I'll give you feedback in terms of like if it's something we want to wrap in, or if it's something we'd want to. As I mentioned before, I'd love to incorporate as much stuff like this, like Discord automation and et cetera, into like the squad system that's coming up. So that would be my only possible hesitance, is like if it's implemented in a different way now and then we have to change it for the squad system, I'd almost rather keep it a plugin or something for now, and then pull it in officially for when Squads comes online, hopefully before too long. But if you have it somewhere I can take a look, I'd love to take a look. Do you speak the language C++? Yes, I do. That's at this point, like my two major languages are Python and C++. More so Python. I'm doing much more Python coding these days than C++. But if you look at the engine, it's basically, I think GitHub will tell you. Let's go check it out. Ballistic GitHub. Yes. Python 46.6%, C++ 46.4%. Oh, Python is winning. And but if C++ and C join forces, they defeat Python. Okay, well, I feel like I probably didn't write the C code for the most part, so that doesn't count. But yeah, it's kind of basically how the engine is. It's like Python stuff for the high layer. Like Python has taken over more and more responsibilities as time goes on. But then C++ stuff for anything that has to be speedy. So originally it was like the entire thing was written in C++, and then I started like adding bits of Python just to be able to like script things. But it's been interesting over time, like those little bits of Python have turned into like taking over the app, so it's more like an app written in Python that has C++ stuff like where we need it, like where it needs to be fast. How old is Eric? Eric is super old. Eric is like, Eric's like 42, I think. It's freaking weird. I started writing this when I was 23, 24, maybe 23. I don't remember. How do you run Python on Android? Well, first you have to port Python to Android, which is that's actually, well, I didn't port it, but you have to like find a system that does. I found this one. It's actually not that hard these days to compile Python for Android. But I found various things like this on GitHub. Python 3 Android. This will go through the process of compiling Python libraries for Android. There's more to it than this. There's a lot of weird quirks and stuff, getting it working and packaging it up and all that, but it's doable. I packaged some of that up. If anyone wants to play with that, by the way, it's under some of my common libraries. If you go to the eFro or the Ballistica repo, under tools, I think eFro tools, eFro tools, PyBuild, yeah. So if you're able to run like eFro tools stuff, like there's like a P command for it and whatever. But yeah, this is my big mess of a Python module that builds Python for various things. Like this one builds it for the Apple architectures using a different GitHub repo. You can see there's a bunch of hacks and things in here where like particular parts of Python didn't behave or just needed to be modified, or there's certain limitations where like on mobile devices, it traditionally has not been possible to ship a bunch of little like shared libraries. So when I build Python, I basically build it all into a single static library and then like link it into the app. So just weird little technical things like that where it's kind of doing it differently than normal. But anyway, if you want to mess around with PyBuild, this is how the game builds its Python, like built-in Python for Android, iOS, etc. For some system, like on Linux, it just uses system Python. So that's why like Linux is a little specific in that you need to have a particular version of Python installed for it to behave itself. That's something I need to address at some point too. That's still on my to-do list, is to try to get things up and running on like, Steam Deck and just like Linux Steam in general. In that case, it'll probably have to like bundle its own version of Python also. So it might be more like the Android build in a way. But anyway, yeah, lots of like that's one of the bigger like technical challenges, is basically to make Python available on like every platform the game uses. In some cases it's easy, in some cases it's hard. Like Android is a little harder. Actually, iOS is a little harder, I think. I think Android is officially supported by Python. Like if you go to python.org, I think it says Android is like an official platform. iOS is not, as far as I know. So I think the iOS one requires, or any of the Apple OSs aside from Mac, I think they require a bit more hackery to get them up and running. So anyway, long story long. Okay, we're still talking about Discord RPCs. Yeah, are they safe or not? What is the... Oh, extra emphasis on keeping keys secure and stuff. Well, this is something... Yeah, this is a job for the Plus library, or the the Plus feature set. So yeah, there's anything that has to be private or can't be fully open source. Yeah, just I'm sticking it in the Plus feature set. So you've probably seen there's like baplus.so or whatever the shared library is. It's the one part of the game that's not open source, which is mostly like account related stuff and stuff talking to the master server and keys and things like that. So so if we did need, or if we did want official Discord support and we need like some sort of official key, like that's probably where that would go. If we need to keep that out of public. But sounds like maybe no API keys are needed or something. Okay, cool. Oh, it wouldn't work on, oh man. There's so many emotional ups and downs reading through this. Like, oh, cool, we don't need keys. Everything's wonderful. Oh, it won't work on Android. Oh, boo. But yeah, this, like I said, this is a job for BA+, hopefully. Oh, that was very impressive. I wasn't like, if it had been something that would have been a disaster for people to find out about, like I like to think I would have been better about not just putting it on a public server and relying on people not noticing. But I mean, you guys did well. I guess I did bad by like leaving HTTP like just fully open so people could see it. But yeah, very good job. Dum-dum. Oh, so the backstory here is. So I maintain like iOS builds. I have like a janky broken iOS build that, because I'm an iPhone person myself, even though the game is only on Android, but I'm an iPhone person. That makes so much sense. But I keep it running on iOS because I do intend to release that when version 2.0 comes out. And so I have this little build system where I can basically poke a button on my phone and it'll send the message to my server, which will like build the iOS build and upload it to a super secret location on that server. And then download it to my phone, so I can basically kind of just like update it from my phone if I want to test it on my phone. But I made a mistake where I basically set that folder as hidden in like the Apache web server, except I only set it as hidden for secure access, so HTTPS. And I didn't check it for HTTP, which was not hidden. So these clever people found that folder and found like my my half-baked iOS version and got it like running on their phones, which was, yeah, like you guys had to like reverse engineer or you had to like strip out the signing or do some little like hoops to get it working, right? But yeah, again, it was a good like lesson for me of do not rely on security through obscurity, as they say. There's still a few other things. Like I'm curious. It's that build is still out there, publicly accessible some way, but I've rehidden it in a new location. So if anyone can find a way to locate the new one, I'll give you like $1 or something. No, but actually, on that note, like please don't like hit my server with a brute force attack trying to find like the new folder location or anything, because that'll cost me money. But yeah, working on 2.0 as fast as I can so that we can get an official iOS build out and I no longer have to hide it from people. Oh yeah, sideloading. Oh yeah. Oh. That's a good point. Is like sideloading is going to become like, not sideloading, but there's all these changes that are coming into play in March, right? Like in the EU for like alternate app stores and things like that. I'm curious. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Like if that's actually going to be a big thing. if Bomb Squad shows up on some shady alternate app store, I'm gonna wonder about you guys. But I mean, the build, like that build you got, it wasn't especially playable, right? Like, wasn't it missing? Isn't like touchscreen controls not even working? I think. I'm still. I finally, there was the big 172. I'm like, my mind is so fried after this last week of porting. I've forgotten like everything about the actual game and not the view and master server. But in some recent version, 1728, whatever the last big update was, where I kind of like redid all the like the input and like the low level event loops and stuff. So in that case, I basically rewrote the iOS version, and it's still not fully working. It's like it's all working. It's using like the new event loop system, and it's very clean and nicely implemented. I just haven't wired it up fully yet to be displaying anything. So I believe it's still in the state. I think I showed you guys the state. Yeah. Here, if we here's my iPad. Launch Ballistica. There it is in all its glory. I think it was like this last time I showed you. Isn't it lovely? So yeah, it's sometimes it's blue and sometimes it's purple. Yeah. So I mean, I could ship that. Like that's pretty much ready to ship. If there's the one little like meta tag that this should be in, I think, the modding docs, but even if you've updated your like Python code to use API 8, you have to like tell the game that your script uses API 8. And there's like that BA meta line that says like uses API 8 or whatever it is. Because yeah, the game will like scan through all the scripts in the mods directory, and it'll look for those tags, and it won't even like try to load your mod if it doesn't find that. Originally, back in the day, like in early versions of the game, it would just like any Python files in your mods directory, it would just like try to load those, like try to load every module. Well, that was a different thing. It would try to load everything automatically, which was, I feel like, not a good design. But yeah, if you had like outdated mods that used like different APIs, it would just try to load them, and then there would just be like cascades of errors, and it was just a big mess. So that's why I added like the meta system to where, if the game makes major changes, then we need the scripts to all like update themselves. It won't even try to load the old ones. So that's what that's all about. It's basically telling the game like, hey, I'm updated, load me. Blue and purple, yes. I feel like more so purple, a bit of blue, and hints of green. Those colors just remind me of like toys. I don't know. It's like Buzz Lightyear. He's got like the blue and the purple and the green. I feel like there's something like '90s toys or something like or it's those '90s cups too. Like maybe that's it. '90s cups. Like yeah, I guess it's more teal and purple, not quite green. All right, let's see if I've probably missed a bunch of questions here. Maybe. Okay, well, maybe not. Opinion on updating. Oh. Did I break this? Oh, okay. Apparently I broke something with the language setup. The language stuff was the first thing that I ported. So maybe something broke since then. So all right, I will make a mental note to revisit this. But anyway, yeah, this whole like language system. Oh, wait, maybe this is it. This is the public face. Okay, so, well, it seems to be mostly working here. But yeah, let me know. I'll check that other thing out, but that was just like an admin function. But yeah, if you're running anything broken with this system, like this is just the same old janky language editor that's been there for a long time, running on the V1 master server, legacy. Um, yeah, if you see anything broken, let me know. And my plan, I do want to completely replace this with something that is basically tied into like asset packages and workspaces, like something on the V2 side. I want it to be, I hopefully will get something started soon. I want to replace all my existing use of this stuff with a new thing, but I want that to be something much like asset packages or much like workspaces where like anybody can make stuff. Anyone can come up with like a dictionary or something, and then anybody can contribute to it, or you can like accept people's translations if you want. Or I'm trying to think of like how would be a good system for things like that. But the idea is like if someone makes an awesome mod or just a completely new game, like I feel like you should be able to just use this same translation stuff. It's pretty handy actually. I mean it's janky and it only works for me, but being able to just like put translations up here and then like people correct them and like it's very nice to have like the community supported sort of thing. So I'd love to like open that up for everybody. That's my hope. For now, I want to keep this janky old one working, but that's the plan, is to come up with something that people can use for mods or for just like complete games or whatever, just your own, like I said, something like dictionary objects or something where you can like define a dictionary and then like open it up to the public to help you translate. Or at this point, since AI is taking over the world, maybe like AI can do all of our translations. I mean, there's always been Google Translate and stuff, but it never does a great job because it doesn't have context. So maybe now, like, we'll be able to. I'm curious, like with AI stuff, if you could show it like a screenshot and be like, "Hey, how would you translate this text to a different language?" Like, if that would do a better job, So maybe we could automate some of that. Well, interesting ideas anyway. So, oh yeah, let's see how Pirate Speak is doing. That's the important thing. 62% complete, guys. We're getting there. Like, just keep the faith. Next incomplete entry. How would a pirate say sign in with service? Let's translate one of these. If we can translate like one this is like one of those commercials. Like if you just donate one thing every day, you can make a difference in someone's life. But if you translate one phrase to Pirate Speak. Oh yeah, let's see what. Okay, well yeah, let's ask ChatGPT. That's a good idea. Okay, except we'll probably have to say something for service, not service. Sign in with. How would a pirate say? Sign in with. Perfect. It's a little bit long, but it'll work. Thank you, ChatGPT. See, AI is taking over the world. So we got to replace Google Play with service. That's totally not going to fit on the button, but whatever. All right, test submit. Blech. Submit changes. All right, language edit submitted. And now, if you hear that little ding, that means I got an email which says someone submitted a language change. So just to see like what this looks like, I come in and Bomb Squad language edit. And I get an email that shows me like reverse translations so that if everyone like changes all the Spanish phrases to taco, then I notice stuff like that. So apply this edit. Change 1 of 1, submit. All right. Pirate Speak 2212 is now created. Okay. Oh, and then the last thing to get that into the game. Tools, P command, lang, update. Oh, wait. Lang, get. Aha. Okay, there. Now it's downloading all the approved languages. and doing a little processing. Languages updated. Hooray! Okay, languages are... We now have one more pirate phrase in there. Rejoice. Oh no. Only one. I have not been checking on the submarine population. My eyes have been totally focused on V1 master server. I've forgotten about V2 fleets. Oh yeah, we got one submarine here, just off Madagascar. Oh man, yeah, no, this is not good. We need to add some features to appeal to submarine users. Shucks. I don't know what would someone in a submarine like to see in a game? Test section being outdated. Yeah, there's still some outdated docs out there. I know, like my old like blog site still has a bunch of outdated stuff. So if you go to I haven't posted anything on my blog in a while anyway. But yeah, like all this stuff is still. I put notes on here saying hey, this is all outdated. Oh, wait, is this not, oh, maybe some of this stuff isn't even here anymore. All right, well, that's probably good. Oh, here's some stuff. But anyway. But yeah, there's lots of stuff that could use more docs. I still... my overall Grandmaster vision for the game is still like squads mode and people writing things, in workspaces and making stuff that people can play with squads, things like that. So I still feel like once that starts to materialize, then I want to start writing documentation for it. But I'm totally slacking on, documenting kind of the state of the world right now because it's still like in this, I don't want to call it transitional phase or something because it's been that way for like 10 years. So I feel like it's not fair to call it that. But, I just still have this like goal in mind I just want to get to and then document the heck out of it, hopefully. We'll see. Though it probably would make more sense. I know there's, like, I haven't been paying attention. Like, there's the automatic documentation stuff that still gets generated right now, but I'm not sure if that is the best, or I know there was talk like of us adopting like Sphinx for documentation generation or something. So that would be good to look into at some point. See if we can maybe have like automatically generate better docs for things or whatever. Especially as like people start to share workspaces and stuff coming up. Like it'd be great if they could take advantage of that same sort of thing too. I don't know. I'd rather support like an ecosystem of stuff versus just having only my stuff be documented, Structural limitation. This is a good question. I am definitely frustrated at this in a way because it's like, yeah, if you look at gameplay itself, it really hasn't changed since like the Python 1.4 days. So it's like most of my time has been going towards like really infrastructure and technical parts, which I love, but it's also like I love them because I want to make the game fun, or it's in the service of making a game. It's not just because I like coding servers, things like that. I would say the slowness is simply just because I'm doing it all, and this topic has come up a lot, where it's kind of like that's somewhat of a choice. I like doing it that way because even though it's very slow, it's still like I feel like I can make the right choices or make the game for the right reasons and steer it in the direction that I feel is best. And I never have to worry about answering to shareholders or like doing things purely for monetary reasons or to try to hit some financial goals or anything like that. It's like for me, I consider this to me, this is more like a house than a um, yeah, I consider this more like a house than I consider it like a job. In terms of people, I always make this analogy where people are always like improving their houses. It's like, oh, this year we're gonna redo the kitchen. Next year we're gonna add a gazebo out back, and after that we're gonna tear down the wallpaper. I feel like it's for me. I have this long term vision of just improving this thing and just keeping it getting better and making fun stuff with it. And it's a slow process, but yeah, I feel like it's a choice to go about it that way rather than maybe hiring a bunch of people and trying to hit some goal of getting a game out at some point, and then when that doesn't work, or if something, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I love doing it this way at the moment. So we'll see, and I know this means that all this technical work has really kept me from improving the game in artistic ways or gameplay or whatever. Um, but I still hope that it will get to that point, or my hope is also to support other people being able to do that kind of stuff. I hope it'll hit a critical mass at some point where, I mean, we're already starting to see that, like Sock and Company, like those guys making Eon, and I really want to support that kind of stuff more from the server side, like support people making total conversions or just mods or whatever, and being able to like play those as tournaments with other people, and supporting that with some like neat server side stuff, or finally getting the game out on other platforms and having people be able to like write their mods and run those on a Nintendo Switch easily, stuff like that. So I am very excited about just the technical side of things, but I do hope to partake in more of the artistic, fun gameplay stuff too at some point. I hope that somewhat answers your question. But yeah, slowly. It is very slowly, I do admit that, but I'm hopeful that it'll be worth it in the end. Aww. Hello, Pigeon. Is Pigeon her name, or is that like the name of the species? Pigeon. Because it looks like pigeon, like Pigeon. Very cute birdie. I rated it a 10. Oh, I gotta. Sometime I have to show you guys my birds. If they're not in my apartment, but I have awesome hummingbirds. Like I have a hummingbird feeder like right outside my window. So there's always hummingbirds out there just like chilling and hanging out, and often fighting. They're very fighty. One of them always tries to like claim the hummingbird feeder as his own, and then the others come and they're like, no. And so yeah, it gets intense. Yeah, a little mini parrot. Yeah, I can show you all my feeder. Let's do it. So, oh, there's no birds there right now, but if we turn around, ta-da, my feeder. It's out of focus, but focus phone. Okay, well anyway, you can see there's my feeder. So yeah, since I've mostly been working at home lately, my hummingbirds, they're my office mates, so they keep me company. I had been. I feel like normally my routine is walking around to coffee shops or kind of just trying to get outside a bit more. But I, at least like in this last week, because I'd just been like in super intense coding mode, using like my dual monitors to the full extent and stuff. I've not been doing any of that. So my hummingbirds are the only interaction I have with other organisms. Any of you all have birds or other pets too? Are you all pet people? Oh, going back up to this. Generate. Cool. Yeah, if we'd want to wrap up something with like Sphinx docs generation for, automatically when we check stuff into GitHub, that'd be super cool. I'd be down to. There's probably already like 5 PRs that do that, and I need to check them, so I apologize for that. But my coffee cup is super boring. I apologize for that too, but I'm still using my Darth Vader evil coffee cup with the little light on. The light is not red at the moment, so it looks less evil than normal. But this thing is just so handy. I remember when I read about these, like, oh, there's some smart coffee cup. Like, what nerd needs that? And then my lady got it for me for my birthday, and now it's like my favorite thing ever. It just keeps my coffee nice and warm. I had like a janky coffee warmer before, which was just a little thing under any coffee cup, it just like, it physically heats up. But then I'd always like forget that I had it turned on, and I'd come back to just like crusted, burnt coffee residue at the bottom of my cup. So this one's probably better in that like it turns itself off if I go away and forget about it. The B9000, yes. B9000 is based on this coffee cup. But yeah, I wish I could make it run out of batteries. It looks like when that goes red, it's so evil looking. This is just like Darth Vader's coffee cup. But I do miss like having a variety of coffee cups, or coffee mugs. Each one has its own little personality. So maybe this company will start like selling a variety of them. It's just each one will be $1 bajillion. That'll be their big plan. Or if they could like have covers, like put a cover on this to make it look different. Yeah, there must be some solution here. First world problems. Okay, local joke. So, which reminds me, by the way, in the game, I feel like there's, well, for one, like a number of puns and jokes and things like that were in the game. They're way outdated now. Like boom goes the dynamite, stuff like that. That being the name of a achievement. But some of them are just like stupid puns that I'm sure anybody translating them was like, what? like why is it called this? So I'm sure a lot of that, gets lost in translation, as they say. Here, you get a star from me. Awesome burb. It does not have a USB port. It has, there's just a little like metal part on the bottom that contacts the thing on the base. So it charges it that way. Unfortunately, there's no USB. It uses Bluetooth, I believe. C9000. Yes. So this is, well, to be fair, today, I feel like I'm going to take today and just like polish stuff up on the old master server, or on the new old master server. It is super fresh and up and running as of last night. So I'm sure there's a few little errors happening, things I need to polish up and stuff like that. But like I said, please let me know if any of it seems broken or if anything is not behaving how it was like a week ago. But then, yeah, after that, I got to get back to like this is a total like mental gear shift. Like getting back to like, what was I working on? Like on the new stuff. I think I was working on the build system, so we can finally finish up actually getting asset packages out there and working. So I'll have to get back to that. That's back in the V2 master server land. So the new old master server. Like I said, I am very happy though, like having this thing ported. It is a little weird that like if I did my job perfectly, then nobody should notice anything changed. So it's it's a little bit like, oh. But it just, yeah, it's nice to know that I'm not relying on something that's going to just be shut down any day now or something like that. So this is all built on stuff that should should hopefully, I'm guessing, keep running unhindered for like 10 years at least or something. We'll see. I've mentioned this before, but it's weird. I mean, for one, it's weird being, as old as I am. Like, how did I get older ish? But it's it's also interesting, like working on this project for this long. I start to think of things in terms of like 10 years or something. It's like, do I want to adopt this tech? Like, will it still be here in 10 years? I feel like that's a question I ask myself. And I feel like I've learned that through mistakes in a way, because like one kind of fun thing about doing like the indie solo thing is, or at least in my case, I've gotten a lot of opportunities to work with like startups that have cool tech that they're building, and like, oh, hey, if you'd want to wrap this into your game, then, we'll feature you, whatever. Um, and more often than not, like those startups disappear in a few years, or, they say like most startups are not successful. There's the occasional one that is, but I found like doing that effort to integrate with things that are likely going to disappear at some point is, yeah, I feel like I'm less likely to do stuff like that now. So I feel like I'll work with like Google or Nvidia or Apple, but I'm a bit less likely to work with a startup these days, because that whole question of like, are they going to be here in 10 years? I feel like the answer to that is a little less likely, yes. Ooh, burbs. Oh, burb debate. Are they fighting or are they making out? This is questionable. Like, birds are so funny. They have just like such like human emotions. Like, or you just read that into them. Maybe they don't have those emotions, but it's just like, oh, love it. Sent some info days ago. Unusual score in a tournament. Ouya being a yeah, that was an example. And I shouldn't. I know I've told this story before too, but like I'm super glad I did the Ouya thing. Like that led to a lot of nice opportunities, and I feel like even though Ouya didn't make it, they got noticed by like Amazon noticed me through them, so they reached out to me about like being a launch title on like the Fire TV, and then Google noticed me through them, and then they reached out to me about being a launch title on um, Android TV. And Nvidia, I think, reached out to me because they noticed me on there, and then Oculus, yeah, they wanted me to be a launch title on for the original like Gear VR, like their first like phone-based VR headset thing. Which reminds me, I still need to get yeah, VR and AR stuff up and running again too. That's one of on the massive to-do list. What is this? Ooh. That's cool. Let's watch that again. Oh, that's a fun little power up thing. Like that could be. I keep thinking about the concept of having like extra cool power ups. Essentially, I mean TNT sort of is like that. Like it spawns more rarely in specific places. Um, it's not especially awesome, but it's not something where you don't want to give that to somebody as like their regular bomb, like spawning TNTs. But it makes me think like other things that could be like the special power ups. Like a single bomb like that. Something where you throw it and it just causes a ton of chaos. I know. I think some of you guys have done stuff like that in mods and things. But yeah, TNT variants. I do think that could be a that's a good way to put it. Just maybe there'd be a better name for it, but just something where yeah, it's just like ultra power ups. They only appear occasionally, but they're super cool, and so it's a little bit like a special occasion when one appears. I think that'd be good to like embrace that as like a official thing. Cool, that's awesome. So yeah, let's be sure to wrap that into squads mode or whenever the official gameplay next changes. I feel like that would be a good thing to wrap in. Because that seems like something fun, the idea of like then you could swap out for a playlist or a game or whatever. It's like use this set of power ups, this set of ultra power ups, whatever. Alt power ups, yeah. Hello. Bomb cosmetics. I'm wondering, like, would that be, Fortnite's and whatever, they have cosmetics. And I'm always trying to think of, like, what is a fun, like, not sleazy way to monetize things. And so, like, cosmetics could be cool. I'm wondering if, like, bomb cosmetics would be bad, though, because if that would make it harder to recognize bombs, like, if you were able to customize your bombs to look different, people might assume that they behave different, Maybe there'd be like a very slight customization you could do, like an icon on them or something like that. I don't know. Any thoughts on any of that? Like, is there anything you guys have that, aside from like characters themselves, obviously, like anything that would be cool to be able to kind of customize? Flag. Oh yeah, flags would be good. Like for your team flag, that'd be neat. Maybe we just have to like keep an eye on it to, yeah, make sure that none of these are gonna mess up readability. That's a good point. But yeah, like a subtle flag print or something. Which goes back into questions of, well, they're probably, like, I feel like with all this stuff, there needs to be like official lists or something. So, I still figuring this stuff out, but, in my mind, I want people to like be able to make anything at all for their own mods or to play themselves or whatever. Like, I think that's important. But then, I think moderation is important too. So like anything that's going to show up in other people's games or by default, like I feel like that stuff needs to be moderated to make sure it's all like readable and obviously, filter out bad content and stuff like that. But I think it's kind of important to yeah, just have kind of like a human involved in that process. Yeah, yeah, I think for squads, I think that would be great. I'd love to revisit icons. Maybe for one, could make them bigger. I mean, it's okay having them small like that, but in general, I think it's cool to, in most cases they could be bigger on the screen, and at least when you're like looking at somebody's profile or something, like seeing a big icon for them that maybe has some more like cool details in it, customization opportunities, things like that. Um, or like we're talking about, when you're in like a squad screen, like meeting up with your friends, just like seeing all of their characters like on screen, Fortnite style, that kind of thing. Like being able to see them big and take a look at their cool skins they got and stuff like that. So yeah, let's try to do that for squads mode is make, yeah, icons. Obviously, yeah, show players while they're joining up, make icons a bigger thing. Um, okay, have fun, take care. Well, with all this stuff, like as I mentioned before, my general strategy is to keep classic stuff as it is, just because I don't want to break anything. So if you're, you know, anything on the classic side probably won't be changing much. So that's the existing kind of bomb squad experience. But once you flip into squads mode, I plan on that being, substantially overhauled. So that gives us an opportunity to tweak whatever we want. I mean, there realistically there'll probably be a lot of stuff that just looks like the old stuff to start with, because I'd rather get that up and running first, and then we can tweak it after that. Ooh, shield color linked to player color. That could be cool. That might help with teams mode. The only downside to that, I'm thinking, is then like if you had other shields that color could be meaningful. Like if there's a green shield or something, I don't know, that like deflected energy back at, or I don't know, or just like an extra powerful shield that's like a different color or something. Yeah, that's true. But sort or yeah, even the existing ones could be maybe slightly tinted for your team just to kind of help with that. Cool, cool. Oh man, this going back to that topic of like working on gameplay stuff versus technical stuff. This always gets me so exciting talking about these like potential like gameplay improvements or whatever. But then I like sit down and like, oh, I need to get the asset package upload system working. So it's like there's still this big list of technical things. But one by one, we're getting through them, and they will lead to a super cool squad system once we're done. Just gotta keep the eyes on the prize. When 1.8 comes, yeah, BRP and COB files. I hope to make this still, yeah, I hope to make the existing system unchanged. Like there will be a new system, which is basically it'll be like a auto downloads folder essentially, where there's asset package stuff like that gets managed by the asset package system. Like it'll automatically download compressed files and extract them into some not really a temp folder. You could consider it that. And so there'll be like that managed one. But I know there are a lot of mods out there that people have files installed manually and things like that. So I like to do my best to keep that stuff working. So if you're running a classic game mode and you use scene v1 and do a get texture, it should look up foo dot cob whatever, or foo dot whatever the texture extension is on that platform. The formats and things, I want to make it flexible where the asset package system, like that'll be a little bit black boxy. Like the formats that it downloads will probably be different. It probably won't be kind of a burp file anymore, or that's not an asset BRP. That's a replay file, but it won't be like the model file might not be like a Bob file or a Cobb file. It might just be like some weird, like a JSON file and then just some raw data files or something like that. Just because then that can like evolve over time. Whereas like .cob and .bob, those are kind of like, I consider those kind of fixed formats at this point. I don't want to change those because there's so many modders out there that are, reverse engineering them and stuff. But I figure like the code's in there that loads that stuff. I don't plan on removing it. So I think if you're writing a mod or a total conversion right now and generating Bob files by yourself, like feel free to keep doing that. I don't plan to take that out. Or yeah, DDS, KTX, yeah. Though that brings up an interesting point with replays. So I mean, there's a number of questions there in terms of like, will the squad system support replays in the same way, or because I imagine I wanted to have the squad system evolve faster. I wanted to have that be a little bit more like if I change a bunch of stuff there technically, it can kind of like force people to update to the newest version if they need to, or, I'll try to not have to force people to update, but, I'd like to be able to kind of, things like feature sets evolving into like scene v2, scene v3, scene v4, whatever. Like, I'm not quite sure that replays for those will stay accessible, like if we're on like scene v6, like if you had a replay from scene v2, like will that still be playable? Stuff like that. Like that's kind of an open question. But anyway, that's kind of a side topic. I do plan on the existing version 1 replays, BRPs, like those should keep working. It made me wonder, like, if we added like cloud storage to those, would that be something people use? Because I just added the whole system for basically per account cloud storage stuff for when people are using workspaces. Like you can basically pay to unlock extra space. Like I wanted to put something in place so if people are uploading hundreds of megs of textures and things like that for building stuff, that it doesn't make me bankrupt. So that's why I added basically kind of like this space quota system for your accounts. So if you're uploading tons of stuff and building tons of things on like workspaces, it'll be like, pay some in-app currency once a year, once a month. I think once a year. I forgot what it is. But, just something where it's like you're paying for the server space because I'd have to pay for the server space. So it makes me wonder for things like replays, like I could tie it into that where, if you want to store all your replays or things like that in the cloud, like we could do that and tie that into the same system. I'm wondering if that would be like worth the time. Then, you save a replay and then it's just accessible from any of your devices or online theoretically if somehow we get like an online player. But yeah, in terms of creative freedom, I definitely my goal or the vision I'm working towards is this online system with things like workspaces and squads, where you can add code online and then people will be able to play it with other people online. But I don't want to take out any of the local modding stuff either. Like I think there's something fun about just like tinkering on a local copy of something. So I don't plan on like forcing people to do the online thing. My hope is that it'll be like the best way for most people, but I don't want it to be the only way, you know what I mean? And also, I still want the engine to be open enough that people can make other stuff with it completely. So, in that case, it might not even have the online aspect. So I still want it to be usable for that sort of thing. But yeah, that's a good. I feel like this is what keeps me going. Is just like the thought of what's at the end of it. Like working on all this is like, oh man, I really want to play this game that doesn't exist yet. I just need to build all the pieces and then we can play it. All right. Anyone else have any thoughts, topics, comments? Death effects when? So what do you mean by death effects? Elaborate on that. Like, I mean, the one death effect we have is, just like dismemberment or whatever you want to call it. Players' pieces falling apart. We talked about this a few weeks ago, the whole like are deaths violent? Like if you see someone, blow into little pieces, but it's like cartoony, is that violent? Like is that oh no, our table, it's broken. Team icons would be cool. Yeah, this kind of goes along with that yeah, like custom flags or something. You could do like custom team icons. Lots of fun ideas. Or like custom team names would be good. That gets into moderation though. I mean, I guess same thing with player names, so it's not that different, but it could be kind of cool for tournament type purposes if, there's some famous team names out there where it's like, oh, team such and such is playing team flute-de-doop. Or that almost gets into like clans or, more like official group organization stuff, which, yeah, I don't plan on touching that yet, but that, fun to think about. I mean, my first big goal, like one of the overarching goals for the whole like V2 system and V2 accounts was just to get unique names for all players at least, and so we're on our way to that. I mean, V1 accounts are still around. You can still see people with their, Google Play Games name showing up, whatever. But in like squads mode, it'll only be V2 names. So if you see a name, you'll know that is who it says it is and stuff like that. So yeah, any last thoughts or anything? Otherwise, maybe I will cut today short. I know it's only been an hour and a half, but yeah, I'm for one a bit brain fried, but I'm also looking to kind of get back and polish up the last few rough spots on the server and get going on that stuff. So I don't know. Anyone else have any topics or anything we want to touch on? 1.8 when? So now that I'm done with this server side quest, I've got my experience. I am back laser focused on asset packages, which is the last, like the last remaining thing for 1.8. And I'm really hoping within the next few months. I can't say more specifically than that, but I'm hoping it kind of feels like it's starting to get close to an end goal here. So maybe late March or April or something. That's what I'm hopeful for, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, I'll work as fast as I can and get there as fast as I can, but it's, sometime soon. I know we've been on 1.7 for longer than the previous few versions, so it's time to get 1.8. All right. Cool. Slick looking button. Is the server update working for you? You passed me the server update and I installed that. I didn't like swing back and check with you. Is that all? Yeah, the standard answer, when it's done. I don't want to be a jerk and just be like, when it's done, like have a when it's done siegel. Because I don't know, I don't want to like be upset at people for asking. It's a valid question, but yeah. I've just learned to like never give too specific of dates. So even the dates I just gave were probably more specific than I should have. But part of that is like to try to keep myself in line, you know, like if I say it's going to be done tomorrow, maybe it'll be done the day after tomorrow, you know. So it's like having that little bit of pressure, I think can be good. Cook Squad when? See, that's why I've been going so slow. I've actually been working on Cook Squad this whole time. I'm going to release it on all platforms next week. It's going to be amazing. Oh my gosh. Cook Squad forever. I got t-shirts, I got plushies, you name it. Oh, you couldn't test it? You mean you didn't have time to test it, or didn't try, or is there something wrong with it? Well, just let me know if there's something wrong with it, but it looked like it was running, but I didn't actually verify. I've been too busy fighting fires and, you know, watching people drive off bridges, my virtual bridges, you know. No, Cook Squad was a joke. There's no actual Cook Squad. Someone wants to make a mod, Cook Squad. You know, that can be our first squads mod. Ooh, Beat Squad, Cook Squad. There we go. It's funny, Beat Squad, like being music centric. In my mind, like at some point, I know we've talked about this. I'd love to add like melee weapons or something, like give Spaz a big old like baseball bat or something. That could be fun, just like the physics if they were done right. So in my mind, like I was thinking like that could be a fun spin-off title, or like a mini game that's just built around like all you have is baseball bats and you just whack each other and call it Beat Squad. But that would be like a different usage of the term beat. So I like the music one too, though. Maybe it could be both. It could be like techno music playing in the background while you're beating other spazzes with baseball bats. Codename Purple. Okay, cool. Updated server works fine. Yay! So yeah, just keep me posted whenever you have updates. It's real easy to swap the new ones out. I could make it even easier for you, give you like an upload button or something, but I don't know if I'm that ambitious. I might just have you email me then. But I could, maybe the upload thing wouldn't be too hard. I don't know. It's one of those things that would be a fun little like few hours, hour diversion. It's just like, I'm going to make an upload button for auto updating. Because that could be used for other people. Like if other people have mods and, you know, I'd be happy to host a few games for them or whatever. Like maybe that would be worth doing. But yeah, just we'll see. Cool. So yeah, looking forward to checking out any updates. We'll have to play again sometime soon, the next few sessions or something, or whenever you guys get to another good point where it'd be fun to check it out. Ooh, nice. Do you have an ETA on that, or just when it's ready? I don't want to. Don't want to be that person. Okay, right answer. Just checking. So yeah, no rush, obviously. I'm the last person in the world who should ever be giving someone a hard time for taking a while to do something. Though I have to say, I am proud of myself this last week. Like I got that entire serve reported like in 1 week, basically. I was thinking it would take like a month because there was so much freaking code. But with enough coffee and techno music, anything is possible, I've learned. It is. Dev life is hard. It's hard and it's not. It's cushy and fun, but it's also hard. But yeah, it was weird. Like like I said, it was so much like typing and which was nice. It was so little thinking. I mean, it was a lot of thinking too. Like occasionally I'd have to like stop and process for a bit, but a lot of it was literally just going through code and typing. And so I kind of love working like that sometimes. It's the kind of work where you can just like put music on and just like zone out and just get in the groove. I feel like some coding you can't do that. You need to be like fully present. But this was just like zone out coding. It was cool. Yeah. Life. All this juggling all these things. I have to remind myself of that sometime too, is like live life a bit. I went skiing with some family over in Colorado a few weeks back. It was actually fun. It was like some of my old, or not old, but like cousins that I used to play Bomb Squad with, like back in 2004 or something, when they were all like tiny little kids. We'd play at like holidays at my parents' place, like the early versions of the game. And so it was fun we busted out like a 7 or 8 player game at our little Airbnb we rented for skiing. So it was fun to play with that old group again. They were still super into it. So it was very like nostalgic. It's like, oh, this is where it all began. My early beta testers. So, all right. Well, on that note, I might wrap things up for today. If anyone, if anyone has any last comments or thoughts, feel free to holler. This will be a record-settingly short Coffee with Eric today. But like I said, my brain's kind of fried, so I feel like I'm going to have a somewhat chill day for the rest of the day, like recovering and doing some casual code cleanup. Oh, 1 hour. Oh, okay. Oh, when was that one? Jeez, this is, well, second shortest then. Look at you guys with your obscure Coffee with Eric knowledge. Like, no, episode 37 back in season 2 was actually 3 minutes shorter. It's like, oh, dang. What's the long? I know we've run over a few times, so we've probably had like 2 hours, like 2 hours 20 minutes or 2 hours 15 minutes or something. You were wrong? Oh, is this the shortest? If we end right now, can we set the record? I mean, I don't know if I want to set that record, but... Wait. No, it looks like it's 15 minutes in. Wait, the whole thing is 15 minutes? That can't be right. We wouldn't have done one that's 15 minutes, would we?
Our mission in Coding Dojo is about redefining what's possible in our students' lives. If you are...
What? I don't know. That is epically short. Huh. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we're never going to beat that record. Connections and submarine. I wonder what that was short. I guess I could watch it. I'm sure there's an explanation in there. 1 minute? Yes. Just record-setting stream. Everyone join up, say hi, goodbye. We'll show a few seagulls, the PR seagull, whatever. Did we have roadmap seagull this time? I think we only had PR seagull. Huh. Changing of the guard. Oh. Yeah, no, that's, yeah, that could be a first. At least Seagull showed up. I don't know if it's the same Seagull. I don't know if he has like 2 different jobs, you know, to support his family, but yeah, regardless. I hope Roadmap Seagull is doing okay. Oh, they're 20, okay. He shows his new coffee cup. This is my new, even smarter coffee cup. It has AI integrated and it makes coffee for me. Yeah, we need a full lore for these seagulls. Like I was saying, we don't want specific lore for like the game characters necessarily, because we want to be able to fix, like, you know, mix and match them. But the seagulls, we can have a complete set of lore. Like if someone wants to like start writing novels for Roadmap Seagull, and like where he met PR Seagull and like how, you know, the adventures they went on together, like we should do that. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm sad this won't be our shortest stream ever by 1 hour and 20 minutes. We're close. But I think I will head out for today and get back to lazy coding. So it's been fun, everybody. Thanks for joining. We'll have to get back to some gameplay next time and some fun stuff. Less talking about Python 2 porting. And so, yeah, been fun all. Everyone have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you all next time. So peace out.